You walk out the door and close it gently behind you. Your cat sits by the window, eyes half closed, tail flicking lazily. You like to think they'll miss you, that they'll wait by the door lonely, counting the hours until you return. But here's the truth, they probably won't. Cats don't miss you the way you think they do, they miss what you represent. The rhythm, the routine, the pattern of their world that makes them feel safe. And while that might sound cold, it's actually something far deeper, a reflection of how cats experience time, emotion, and love itself. Today, we'll explore the fascinating truth behind feline attachment, why cats crave consistency more than company, and how understanding that can make your bond with them stronger than ever. Humans crave emotional symmetry. We want to believe that the love we give our pets comes back in the same shape. When a dog cries at the door after its owner leaves, it feels like proof of loyalty. When a cat doesn't, we assume they don't care. But cats don't measure love in absences and reunions. They measure it in predictability. Their affection is built around stability, the comfort of knowing what happens when it happens and who brings it. When that pattern breaks, their world shifts. So when you leave, it's not your face or voice they miss most. It's the moment the routine changes, the meal that comes later, the silence that replaces your footsteps, the missing rhythm that anchored their day. Cats don't mourn you, they mourn consistency. To understand why cats don't miss us, you need to understand how they perceive time. Cats don't have a human sense of clock time. They don't understand hours or minutes. Their world runs on patterns, light, sound, temperature, and your habits. They know morning because of the sunlight through the window, the smell of coffee, the sound of you walking across the floor. They know evening by the way the world quiets down, by your voice lowering, by the change in the air. So when you disappear, they don't count the hours. They don't wonder where you've gone. They simply register a broken pattern. That's why cats often act restless or anxious when you change your schedule, even if you're still home. They don't need you to stay. They need the world to make sense. For a cat, routine isn't boring, it's security. Cats are creatures of the environment. In the wild, predictability means survival. Knowing where to find shelter when prey is active and how to avoid predators, those instincts still live inside every domestic cat. When they live with us, we become part of that stability. Your feeding times, your voice, your daily movement through the house, all of it becomes part of their map of safety. When you leave for a trip or change your work schedule, your cat's environment suddenly stops following the rules. That's what triggers stress. Not your absence as a person, but the collapse of the pattern they trusted. It's easy to assume cats are less attached than dogs, but that's not true, they just attach differently. Dogs form dependent attachments based on pack structure. They see their human as a leader, and separation feels like being cut off from the group. Cats form secure attachments based on environment and trust. In one famous study from Oregon State University, researchers tested how cats react when their owners leave and return. They found that most cats show secure attachment, meaning they stay calm when the owner leaves and greet them normally when they return. That calmness isn't apathy, it's trust. Your cat's lack of panic is actually proof that they feel safe with you. They're not scared you'll vanish forever. They just expect life to resume as normal when you come back. They don't miss your presence, they rely on your return. Cats have extraordinary associative memory. They remember experiences and people based on how those things made them feel. They don't store faces or names like humans do, they store emotions and outcomes. If you feed them gently and speak softly, they associate you with calm and safety. If you move suddenly or shout, they associate you with chaos. When you leave, it's not your physical absence that matters, it's the emotional rhythm you leave behind. Your cat remembers what it feels like to live in a world that includes you. That's why they might sleep in your spot when you're gone or sniff your clothes. They're not yearning for your image, they're seeking the emotional echo of normalcy. Cats evolved to survive alone. They hunt solo, sleep solo, and defend territory solo. That independence isn't arrogance, it's biology. When a solitary predator loses a companion in the wild, it doesn't mourn, it adapts. That same instinct lives in your living room, cat. They're not emotionally vacant, they're emotionally efficient. When something changes, like you leaving for work, they don't spiral into sadness. They reorganize their world. They eat, sleep, patrol, and wait until the pattern rebalances. This resilience is what makes cats seem detached, but it's also what makes them remarkable. They can thrive even in emotional silence. Now, that doesn't mean cats can't feel loss. They do, just in their own way. When a cat loses a companion, whether human or animal, their behavior often changes. They may eat less, hide more, or become unusually quiet. But what they're reacting to isn't abstract grief, it's environmental absence. They're noticing that smells, sounds, and schedules are wrong. Their emotional world has shifted, and they're trying to realign it. Over time, many cats adjust by establishing a new normal, finding comfort in fresh patterns. Their love doesn't die, it adapts. To your cat, you are not a person with a job or a name or a life beyond the door. You're part of the ecosystem that defines home. You represent food at a certain time, light at a certain angle, warmth in a specific spot on the couch. You're part of their territory, one they mark with scent and memory. So when you leave, the space doesn't feel dangerous. It feels incomplete. They wait not for you, but for balance to return. That's not indifference, that's stability disguised as calm. Cats express love through repetition. Every slow blink, every head rub, every stretch beside you is a ritual, a reaffirmation of connection. These small gestures create a shared pattern between you and your cat. When you leave, that pattern breaks. The dance pauses. But when you come back and resume it, feed, talk, sit, pet, their world clicks back into place. That moment of reunion isn't sentimental for them. It's functional. The machine of safety is working again. And in that predictability, they feel peace. If you've ever moved homes, switched furniture, or simply bought a new couch, you know how cats react: suspicion, hiding, anxiety. Change is chaos to a cat. Their entire nervous system is built around mapping space and pattern. New smells, new sounds, or missing objects can throw that map into confusion. When you leave, it's the same kind of disorientation. They're not lonely in the human sense, they're unsettled. They'll pace, meow, or act out not because they miss you personally, but because the pattern that defines their security has been disrupted. And when you return, the world makes sense again. Cats maintain emotional balance through control. They choose where to sleep, when to play, when to eat. They manage stress by retreating to high ground or safe corners. Every habit they build is a mechanism to keep their inner world stable. When you're gone, they adjust those mechanisms. They might sleep more, groom more, or explore new spaces. These aren't signs of sadness, they're signs of resilience. They don't wallow in emotion, they re-engineer their peace. Still, there are subtle signs that your cat notices your absence, even if they don't feel it as grief. When you return home, they might sniff you more than usual, follow you, or meow differently. That's not emotional reunion, it's data collection. They're recalibrating their map of you. You smell different, sound different, move differently. They're verifying that the pattern they know still fits. Some cats will act clingier after long absences, but that's not guilt or affection. It's a nervous system adjusting to restored normalcy. In their way, it's love expressed through familiarity. It might sound disappointing to think your cat doesn't miss you personally, but the truth is, their love might be more honest than ours. Humans attach emotionally even when it hurts us. Cats attach only when it feels safe, when the environment supports peace and stability. They love through presence, not absence, through habit, not hope. Their affection is built into the texture of everyday life, the shared quiet mornings, the evening routines, the silent companionship. And maybe that's a more grounded kind of love, one that doesn't depend on drama or longing, just coexistence. Your cat's calm isn't apathy, it's trust in the return of rhythm. Extended absences, weeks, months, can alter your cat's behavior more noticeably. Without the patterns you provided, they may grow anxious, develop stress behaviors, or even withdraw emotionally. But here's the key: it's not because they forgot you. It's because they had to build a new world without your input. When you come back, they might ignore you at first or act distant. That's not anger, it's recalibration. They're comparing the new normal they built with the one you've reintroduced. Once they realize stability has returned, the affection resurfaces naturally. Cats don't hold grudges, they hold patterns. If you travel often or work long hours, the best way to comfort your cat isn't through affection, it's through consistency. Keep feeding times and lighting similar. Leave familiar scents, a worn shirt, a blanket. If possible, use timed feeders to maintain routine. Cats find reassurance not in presence but in predictability. When the rhythm remains, the heart stays calm. Even a short daily ritual, a phrase, a sound, a small treat can anchor them emotionally. To a cat, routine is love made visible. Yes, but not like we expect. Cats don't love through longing, they love through loyalty to peace. They choose us not for our absence, but for the comfort our presence brings. When they purr beside you, when they nap in your scent, when they follow your footsteps quietly, that's their love story. Not dramatic, not loud, but real. Cats love patterns. They show it through patience, repetition, and presence. It's not less emotional, it's just quieter, deeper, steadier. Maybe cats remind us of something we forget, that love isn't about missing. It's about being. Humans romanticize absence. We measure affection in distance and longing. Cats teach us to measure it in calmness, trust, and rhythm. They don't fall apart when you're gone. They hold the space, waiting for harmony to return. Maybe that's the purest kind of devotion, not fear of loss, but faith in continuity. When we say cats miss the routine, it's easy to forget something important. You are part of that routine. Your footsteps, your voice, your energy, all of it shapes their environment. They may not miss you as a person in the human sense, but they feel your absence in the texture of their day. You're woven into the fabric of their normal. When you're gone, the pattern unravels slightly. When you return, it repairs. So maybe they don't miss you, but they miss the world that exists when you're there. And isn't that the same thing, just said differently? Cats don't miss you, they miss the routine. But in that routine lives their love for you. They may not wait by the door, but they wait for the world that makes sense, the one where your presence gives rhythm to their quiet lives. Their affection isn't built on longing, it's built on trust. Trust that the sun will rise, the bowl will fill, the voice will return, and the world will keep turning the way it should. So the next time you come home and your cat seems calm, indifferent, or half asleep, know that you've restored balance to their universe. And in that peace, in that quiet purr, lives a kind of love that doesn't depend on missing you, it depends on knowing you'll come back. If you love learning how cats think, feel, and love differently, subscribe to Furry Facts and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Because every cat hides a story, and every story changes the way we see love itself.